All right, going live. See if everything is working. Yeah, we're online on YouTube. Just setting everything up. Hey, first people coming in. Tolkstein, hello, welcome. Looks like we're all live and ready to go then. That is good. Yeah, got some people coming in. That's good. All right. So let me share my screen. Hold on. Where is it? There we go. Screen. Share. All right. Looks like we are more or less ready to go then. Cool. Got my chats here. Hello, hello. Your room ambience is immaculate. Thank you. Oh, I should, before I forget, we have to studio.youtube. All right, everyone. So if you don't know yet, I have started a Linux community where I share my free 8-hour course completely for free. So it's on school.com/Linux. And here we go. You can join for free. And here you will get a free 8-hour course and also all of the Linux or all of the stream recordings. So we are live. Sharing the link in there. Boom. Oops. We are live. School.com/Linux is the name of the game. Completely free, guys. Enjoy. Cool. So now that we have set everything up, it looks like everything is. Hold on. Yeah, here. Okay, it looks everything is up and running. I see the chat. Yeah. Cool. I have a really bad cold and I'm not feeling that well today, but I still dragged myself out of bed and uh, wanted to do a short stream for you guys. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to go, but so bear with me if I'm a little bit slow or stumbling on my words, but I am not in good shape right now. But I'm here to serve you all. So I also had an extremely busy week, so much going on in the business, and I have not had any time to prepare. But what I thought today, what we could do is just talk a bit about the desktop environment and window managers that I use, how it works, and um, maybe go a bit into Wayland as well. So, um, if you have any questions around that, please share them in the chat. And um, if you have any other questions that you are stuck with right now, please share those too. Then I can get to those questions before we go into window managers. And I will just share a little bit about my journey with the window managers, how I think about them, and give you some recommendations. Beterschap, thank you very much. Beterschap is Dutch for get well soon. Just wanted to thank you, Misha. Your videos have helped me in my journey. I have a great note making system with NeoVim and it transformed my life. Hey, super happy to hear that. Um, if you are not able to support me by purchasing one of my career programs, then please make a donation in my name to any free or any good cause of your choice and send me some good karma that way. If I transformed your life, then please do something in return as well by donating something to something in your some good cause that you prefer. Okay, well, I don't see any questions rolling in. Actually, how many people do we have live now? Maybe that is why. 81 people, damn. 81 people live, so mostly from YouTube. So if you have any questions, and um, get those first, and then I will go into window managers. You're an inspiration to me and my journey into Linux, and my main channel, I learn about Linux. That's cool. I've joined the course. Great. Welcome on board. School.com/Linux. We are building the best Linux community on the internet. And interesting, what's really cool is if you go to school.com and go to the discovery communities, if you search for Linux, then you will see that we are actually number one already. We only started like what is it, 4 weeks ago? So we are the number one Linux community on the school platform, and as you see, there are 779 communities that match on this keyword. So out of almost 1,000 communities, we are already number one. So that tells you that we're doing something right here, and that's only because of the community and the people in it, of course. All right. Um, what is your preferred desktop environment? Yes, that's what we're going to get into. Love to know how to install Hyperland in my Arch Linux after installing GNOME. I tried and I messed up big time. Okay. Yeah. Um, how can one join KubeCraft? Okay. Well, we can do two questions in one then. So, first of all, he is asking about KubeCraft. Now, this is my private program where I teach people how to land DevOps jobs. And I take a unconventional approach for learning or teaching Linux, where like the actual free Linux course that you can join for free, that is actually taken out of here. So it's professional material that people pay thousands of dollars for. Um, but what I do in there is when we go into Linux Advanced, is I take the unconventional approach where we uh, build an Arch Linux system from scratch. So I'm going to teach you how to set up Arch Linux from nothing. So all you have is a blinking cursor, and then we're going to learn how a bootloader works. We're going to partition the disks ourselves by hand. We're going to encrypt them. We're going to set up logical volumes. We're going to set up networking, everything through systemd. And then we're actually going to install Hyperland. Okay. So it is a very unconventional approach of teaching Linux, but it works extremely well. Like all of our students, they absolutely love it, and they're landing jobs because of this. So to your point of, can you teach me how to install Hyperland? The course is right here waiting for you. And yeah, to answer the question of how to join KubeCraft, you go to kubecraft.dev here. I will send that link as well. We don't just let anyone in. We first see if you are a good fit for the community. And um, if you are a good fit, that's why you have to make an application. Then you will be invited to join. So this is how you can access KubeCraft. And that's actually where I teach you how to install Arch Linux. And not only that, we go after that, I will teach you Kubernetes, how to land DevOps jobs, and actually how to get a six-figure job. Okay. So, but since you asked, that's I just why I'm mentioning it. I do live mentoring here every single week. Will get to go on calls with me directly, and I'll help you there. So this is specifically for people who are ready to land six-figure DevOps jobs, like I did. This is where this is for. So I hope that answers your question. Let me know if you have other questions. Okay, well, then I think we are ready to go into desktop environments. Do you pay for KubeCraft? Yes, this is a paid offering. This is for people who are seriously considering DevOps jobs and who are willing to invest in themselves. KubeCraft is not free. It requires an investment because I am in there teaching people uh, directly, right? You're paying for my courses. There's over 80 hours of courses in there, but also my direct mentorship. So when you join, you get direct mentorship from me. I support you in the journey. So that is why KubeCraft is not free. Cool. Now let's go into window managers and desktop environments. So in the free Linux course, we focus on the command line, right? We focus on the command line, and I teach you how to set up the command line from scratch. We work completely on the command line. But as you see here in my day-to-day work, I do have a graphical environment for Linux, right? I am not working only on the command line because you have to use a web browser, you have to do video calls, so I do everything. So all of my content creation, my business, my DevOps work, all of this is done on Linux, and I do that I've done that for years now. And so you need a graphical environment, okay? So there are two types. Actually, let's create a node here. Desktop environments and window managers. So there are roughly two types of graphical environments. So first of all, so we should establish that in the free course, you learn how to work on the command line. And if you don't know what the command line is, then we did it exactly here, and we did a live stream where I talked like for 3 hours about, or 2 hours about the differences between the command line and everything. So that is all in the free Linux course. So that is the CLI, the command line interface. And what we're referring to here is the GUI, so the graphical user interface. That is where what these terms stand for, right? You have the CLI on the command line. So this is the command line where you do your work. But what all of these things that you see here on my screen, that is in the graphical user interface. Now, GUIs. There are two types of GUIs, roughly. That's desktop environments, DEs, and there are window managers. So what you see here, what you see me using is a window manager. You see that I don't have you don't see any icons on my desktop. I don't have a start button that I can click. I do have a few bars here. Oh, hold on. Why is my internet? Yeah, okay. I'm on a wired connection. Good. So I do have some bars here with some information in it, but um, I do not have a start menu that you might be used to, right? So it's a very different experience. So I'm going to go deeper into it, but maybe we will go into desktop environments first. But let's see if there are any questions about that first. Love to explore and study in advance. Yeah. Okay, cool. Did you ever pursue the LFX certifications? Uh, Only the Kubernetes ones. I'm not sure if those are LF. Yeah, I mean those are Linux Foundation, but I have the CKA, CKS, CKAD. So I'm a Kubestronaut. I have all the Kubernetes certifications, and yeah. It's a good question. Window Manager is not the same as Wayland compositors, right? Yes, it's not the same, and we can get into that as well. Wayland. So maybe the good. Yeah, we'll see how deep we go into Wayland. And again, for those of you who have joined a bit later, I have a really bad cold. You can probably hear it. And actually, as I'm talking, I feel my headache coming up and up. I'm actually not feeling good at all, but I'm just trying to serve you guys for a while here. I'm not sure if I can go on very long today. So maybe Wayland needs to be saved for a new another week. But what we're going to do is let's talk about desktop environments first, and then we'll do uh, window managers. So a desktop environment is something that you are used to when you're running Mac, right, or Windows for that matter. So if you let's do Windows 10. If you have Windows 10, is there yeah screenshot? That's a very bad screenshot. Why are these screenshots so? This is a pretty bad screenshot, but most of you people will know how what Windows looks like. But what you see is that you have a desktop here, and then you have a start button, and you have icons, and it is all integrated into one system, right? So when you install Windows, you install essentially a desktop environment. Now, the cool thing with Linux is that Linux has tons of desktop environments as well. So when you install Ubuntu desktop, and actually let's just go to Ubuntu. It might be good to revisit that. So if you want, we in the course we use Ubuntu, right? And we installed Ubuntu server. So if I go to download Ubuntu, then you will see that I get several options here. There's Ubuntu desktop, Ubuntu server, Raspberry Pi, blah blah blah. But um, we installed Ubuntu server in the course. But there's also Ubuntu desktop. So what is that about? Ubuntu desktop guide. So uh, yeah, here. Ubuntu desktop is the most popular open source operating system powering millions of PCs and laptops around the world. So Ubuntu desktop supports all your daily computing needs. It offers applications for web browsing, messaging, gaming, and content creation, Firefox, Discord, everything. So compared to other mainstream operating systems, Ubuntu desktop prioritizes your private. Okay, that's not. Yeah, okay, it is true. But Canonical does send a few, you have to opt out of some diagnostics, I believe, for Canonical. But Ubuntu Desktop, let's see, does it have any screenshots here? Uh, no. Well, let's just do an image then. Ubuntu Desktop. Ubuntu Desktop is, when you install that, it will look and feel quite familiar in the sense that you have um, a bar. So in this case, the task bar is on the left side by default, but you can set it to the bottom. And then you have some icons in there, and you have somewhat of a start menu. Okay, you have a desktop, you have icons, you have like a file explorer, but most importantly, a desktop environment installs all of the important packages that you need. Like usually, it will install a desktop environment. It will install a suite of applications for you that you will may need in your daily computing needs. So this is much more accessible, right? This is basically rebuilding the things like Mac OS or Windows for users who are used to using a computer from the graphical side of the OS. So Ubuntu Desktop uses something called GNOME. GNOME Desktop. So GNOME, an independent computing platform for everyone. So you can install GNOME on any other uh, desktop Linux distribution. So when we went into Linux distributions in an earlier live stream, we talked about what a distribution is. So very often, what a distribution comes down to is that they take the Linux kernel, pair that with a desktop environment, and then add some applications to there so that you have a working system. So the GNOME desktop environment is the one that is included with Ubuntu. And I have used GNOME for years, and it's really great. The only reason why I don't use it anymore is because there is less configurability, or you have to do all of these weird hacks with like GNOME applications and G settings, and it started to become hacky for what I wanted to do. But GNOME is a really good desktop environment, a good one to start with. So um, let's see if there are any questions, and then I will go with share a few other environments. Uh, let's see, any of you running Arch servers? Nice. Fedora is great. Yeah, I'm running Fedora right now. Ubuntu is the devil of the Linux world. Okay, I strongly disagree. Why is that the case? It's really good for people to get started with Ubuntu. Um, is this framework? Yes, this I'm running this on my framework laptop. Um, you can add tiling extensions to GNOME. Yeah, that's correct. You can do that. You can configure GNOME quite a lot. It's actually really good, but yeah, there were a few things that I started to lack, which I'll get into. So GNOME is a good one. And yeah, my first one was Fedora, but note that that is a Linux distribution. It's not necessarily the desktop environment. Like, well, that's a good case in point. Like, if you go to Fedora, you will get the opportunity to get multiple desktop environments. Okay, so here's the Fedora workstation. And then here they will say, well, you can also get Fedora KDE Plasma Desktop. So Fedora Workstation featuring the GNOME desktop. KDE features the KDE Plasma desktop. So KDE is its whole, like an whole ecosystem of all sorts of applications. And it is actually often people will say that this is a good step for Windows users, and you can see why. It does the bar in this bottom, and look, it even mimics the Windows 10 kind of clock in the side here, the start menu. So this feels very familiar for people who come from Windows. Uh, KDE is often recommended there. So KDE is a good one to try. If we go back to Fedora, no, okay, it was just those. Then there are Fedora spins. And yeah, so you have XFCE, which is another environment. You have Cinnamon. You have all sorts of different desktop environments, right? So the main ones, I would say, main desktop environments, GNOME, KDE, familiar for Windows users, and yeah, and the final one I will mention is Cosmic. Cosmic DE. I would say these are the main players. Now, System 76 is a company that creates Linux computers, and they started developing their own desktop environment because they weren't happy with GNOME, and they basically said, well, let's just create our own. And it's written in Rust. It's actually really good. I've used this for over a year. It is still how do we call it? It was in, yeah, it's still in, no, is it in beta? It has been in alpha for a long time. I'm not sure if it's in beta now. I actually don't know, but I've already used it for a year and it works well. Like it's a good, there are a few quirks, but I highly recommend trying out Cosmic. It has been a good experience for me. So Cosmic is the other one. So those are the main desktop environments I would try. And so Ubuntu desktop. So next we can go into window managers to see if there's a couple of questions here. Let's see. Budgie, Cinnamon, yeah, there's so many different ones. There's endless variations. Okay, Cosmic is not good. There are so many bugs. Well, it's not that bad. Like, have you tried it? How long did you run it? How long have you run Cosmic? Let's see. Cool. So then we can go into window manager. So what you see me using here is a window manager. And the reason why it's called a window manager is it's fundamentally a window manager is just something that draws windows on screens, right? So if I open my Alacrity here, if I here, so if I open up a new window like TwoNod, for example, it just opens a new window. Like there's no concept of, um, I mean, I would say this is the same in desktop environments, but like usually you have a taskbar and then there's the icons in the bottom and that's it. But here I have windows and I have workspaces. So if you see in the bottom here, you will see that I'm now at 1, then there's 2, and then there's 3 in the bottom left. There's workspaces, and a workspace is simply a collection of windows here in the bottom. So this way you can gather certain applications or workflows inside of one space, which is what I really like to do. So a window manager is nice because you can control it with the keyboard. Okay. So I have a keyboard centered workflow. And if I now want to go to a new workspace, I just do Super 7. I press Command D, tunar, and now I have my file manager open. Okay, I can now interact with the file manager if I want. Or if I want to open a different application, I just press Command D, and then whatever I want to start, I can start it from this menu. I can search, and I can just do all of that from the command line. Now, what I really like about this is I have a certain um, order of my workspaces. So number one is always my browser. If I press Super 2, I switch to 2. This is always Obsidian. And Super 3 is my terminal. Okay. Now, in this case, I have my streaming setup at 4. And then you are, I can switch between them like this. Okay. So this means that when I start my computer, all of my applications are exactly where I want them to be. So if I'm working in the command line and I want to quickly go to the browser, I can just with just two fingers, I just instantly I'm in the browser, right? So I'm working, I'm in the browser and I go back. Browser, go back. So I know exactly where I can go. There's no alt tabbing. I don't lose a millisecond in switching between things. And this is why I prefer to use Window Manager so much, because all of this is also programmable. So if I go to my config directory and sway, so we'll get into the window managers, but if I open up my config here, you see that it's literally just code that tells me that I can configure. So I can actually write in code what I want. So when I take when I install a new Linux machine, I can take this code and my environment is going to be exactly the same as it is in this one because it's all specified in code. It has all of my key bindings, it has all of my custom applications that I run. I have things to transcribe my speech, all that kind of stuff, all handled through my window manager. And it's exactly the same on my laptop, on my desktop, or wherever I find myself working. So this is why I prefer a window manager because I can configure it from code. And yeah, there are some ways of storing settings and make it portable. But in my experience, if you want a portable setup that you can configure from code, then window managers are the way to go. Okay. So workspaces have windows, uh, collecting windows for efficient workflows, easily switching between workspaces with Super 1, 2, 3. There is the ability to control everything with the keyboard. So if I want to move this to workspace number 4, then I press command Super Shift 4, and now I'm in 4, and now my Obsidian is in 4, right? So I can move things around as well. So going back here, so there is uh, I can move things around and control things with my keyboard. Finally, there is the portability. I can configure my window manager from code, which means that everything will be across all of my machines. And also there was the ability to assign windows to workspaces on startup. So my I can productive instantly. So if you value if you want to build an optimal workflow, a window manager is where you want to go, is what you need. In my opinion, that is the most optimal uh, way of doing it. In my opinion and in my experience. Window managers. Okay. So that's window managers. And the window manager that I'm using is Sway. Sway. Sway window manager. So before I go into that, we have to talk about Wayland as well. So we will go into that, just see if there are any questions. Hey, sites on Twitch. Nice to have you here. Kind of doing something like that on macOS already. There's no way to keep these configurations as code, however, big plus for Linux here. Yeah, that's the thing. Um, well, there is actually, I'm going to blow your mind. There's something called Aerospace. You're going to love this. Uh, Aerospace. This is a tiling window manager. It's very similar to what I'm doing here. It does have configuration in code, not to the degree that I'm doing it here, but it will help you. I think it might help you with those goals. But this is what I also use on my Mac when I incidentally use my MacBook. I have this turned on. Let's see. Other questions. Cosmic is really good. Haven't noticed any bugs at all. Yeah, that is my experience too. Uh, like there have been some bugs, but even my Sway sometimes has a bug, right? So it is actually a lot better than people make it out to be. Haha, yeah, glad I could blow your mind there. So I can eject this into any workspace station to make it instantly familiar. Yes, exactly. Archaeologicify, what a name. That's exactly what it means. The keyboard shortcuts can also be configured in DA to behave the same. At least KDE has good tiler. There is some of that, yes, but for example, in Cosmic, I cannot configure my startup applications. Very i3 like. Yeah, yeah. Your membership is still pending. Yeah, so we ask you to provide some details and we only take up serious community members. So if you don't put any effort in the application when writing it, then you will be rejected. So that is probably what happened. All right, so let's see, Sway. So this is the one that I'm using. So my journey in window managers. Um, I actually started out with Awesome Window Manager. And maybe some of you have seen that video on my YouTube channel. If you have seen this video on my YouTube channel, then you are a OG of my YouTube channel. If you've seen the video of me configuring Awesome Window Manager, then you're an OG. But I don't know how I started with this, but this is, whew, this must be 5 years ago. Like this was during my first DevOps job. That's when I started with. I was using Linux and GNOME, Ubuntu and GNOME, and then I moved towards window managers. And for some reason, I went with Awesome Window Manager, which is, yeah, I don't know how I got there, but I should have just gone with i3. So this is the one that I started with, but yeah, I kind of have to explain X and Wayland. So here you will see that Awesome says it's a window manager for X. And here it says Sway is a tiling Wayland compositor and a drop-in replacement for the i3 window manager for X11. So here you see this X again, right? Okay, so let's get into, uh, I won't go too deep into it. Actually, I'm starting to reach the end of my capabilities today because I'm feeling sick. I'm not right. I have a really bad cold. But basically, very short, uh, Wayland can be the topic of the next stream. But very short. There used to be X11. or Xorg. We're going to get in all of those terms next week. But basically, like in order for to draw things on your screen, you need a certain protocol, right? You need you need a protocol. And for the longest time, what we used on Linux was X11. That was the protocol. Now, a new protocol was developed, which is called Wayland, because X11 is fundamentally insecure. There are all sorts of problems with it. It's old and it wasn't maintained anymore. So the Wayland was developed. And so there's basically no, two window protocols. Like I'm too tired for this today. There's two protocols, and it's X11, which is old. You should not use it. And then there's Wayland, which is the modern thing to do. And Wayland is what you want. And up until what is it? 2 years ago, I think. Since when does Ubuntu have Wayland by default? I think it was uh, yeah, 2021 actually. Wow, I thought it was way sooner. Oh yeah, okay. The X11 was removed recently. That was it. Okay. So here, this is what I was thinking about. So yeah, last year, Ubuntu is actually ditching Xorg, but Wayland, Wayland is the standard, and you should not use X11 anymore. Period. That's the short answer. So on X11, now that we know we have the two protocols, I used to use the awesome window manager, but there's also the i3 window manager. i3 improved, and you see again, uh, it said, hold on, it doesn't say it here. Here in the search, it says improved tiling X11 window manager. So this is the old version. The i3 is a window manager for X11, and Sway is basically a tiling window manager, a Wayland compositor that is a replacement for i3 on Wayland. Okay, and this is what I use. Now, one final one that we will mention, then we're going to wrap it up, is Hyperland. Something what the other guys were asking about, and this is also a Wayland compositor. Okay, so there are some terms here. So, what is Wayland? What is a compositor? What is yeah, that's maybe a good question to answer next week. But this is Wayland, and basically it is very similar to Sway, but it is kind of, how do you say it? It prides itself in this making things beautiful, right? And people go crazy with this. This is a phenomenon called rising. So people will spend months on creating these beautiful environments, and I did the same. Make it as beautiful as possible. I have also spent many weekends trying to get the perfect environment, but I can tell you now as a senior that it's a waste of time. Like if you're doing this, you're wasting your time. Sure, it's a nice creative hobby, but I actually thought while doing this that it would make me better at Linux. It doesn't. So if your goal is to become a six-figure engineer, if you want to learn Linux, then using stuff like this is not, it won't benefit your career at all. So I used Hyperland for well over a year because of, yeah, it was hyped, people talked about it, and I wanted to try it out. So I used it for about a year, but what I found was like when you install it by default, it looks like something like this. It looks very beautiful. But I found myself instantly disabling all of these animations, making things everything had to be as simple as possible. And that is what I am focusing on. I want things to be as simple and productive as possible. No animations, nothing. And this is why I was basically disabling everything in Hyperland, and I figured, well, why not just use Sway then? Because Sway is it is much simpler. It is very, it doesn't have all of these bells and whistles. It just works. And a few arguments for using Sway above Hyperland is um, Sway has a larger community, so source code. This has 16,000 stars. It is a lot older. So this is already 7 years old, 10 years old, actually. Wow, I didn't know it was that old. So Sway is 10 years old. Hyperland is, let's check it out. It does have more stars, interestingly. So maybe, in fact, there is a larger community around Hyperland now. But how old is Hyperland? Man, he's been 4 years ago. It's probably about 4 years, something like that. So it's younger, but it's also it's one guy that's doing it. Okay, so he, and I don't get me wrong. I chatted with him on X. He's a nice guy, but it was written by one guy all alone in the beginning, and the guy is a student. So he's has a whole life, and he's just a college student or a university student, and he's managing all of this. Well, not by himself because there's lots of contributors, but he is basically leading the project. It's very much a one man show, and Sway has a larger community. So that is why I prefer it. It's also more established, and yeah, that and it's simpler. So that's why I ended up on Sway. That's what I use, and I feel very comfy here. This is my home. So I will take some few last questions, and then I'm going to end the stream because I'm like my head is exploding. I'm so uh, I don't feel well at all, so I will have to go there. X is older than Linux. Actually, yeah, that's actually true. Uh, I have to note that X is older than Linux. X was used on Unix as well, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, Ubuntu had both for years. Yes, that's right. Qtile is also very good. Okay, cool. I've never used that, but thank you for the tip. Hyperland is awesome. It's pretty good. Yeah. Rising is for anime fans. Yeah. Yeah, I hear a lot about Neri. Neri is like a Neri window manager. It's like a scrolling one, I believe. It's a whole different, yeah, a scrollable Wayland compositor. So let's see. Is this a video? No. Oh, here's a video. So it's scrollable. Windows are on an infinite horizontal strip. Yeah, no, I don't like this. Like I would have to go left, 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 right, 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 and sort of scroll between them. No, I need to have like a group that I can reach with one key binding. And you can probably do that here, but that this won't work for me. But it's pretty cool. I hear a lot of people talking about it. Rising is fun. Yeah, you should only do it if it's fun. Let's see. Sway was the first Wayland only window manager. Yeah, it's the OG one. Hyperland is popular now. Yep. It's such hell to install if you're not installing it from Arch install. Okay. Nap for us. Yeah, I will do that. Thank you. Feel better. Thank you very much. Omar Chi. Oh, I. Yeah. Okay. So we have to do an Omarchi discussion as well. Omarchi. Uh, Omarchi. The short answer is do not use Omarchi. Do not do it. Do not fall for it. It's horrible. Um, Probably a controversial take, but do not use it. I will explain next time. Okay. Uh, let's see. No hate on anime. No, not for me. Neri is very nice and very gnome. Yeah, so many people talking about Neri. So people try it out. It's not for me, but yeah. Holy algorithm pool. Anyway, hello. Well, nice to meet you, Shiro. New to the channel. Uh, can I rise my Tmux? Yes, for sure. Like this. This is running in Tmux. Oh, actually, I wasn't in Tmux. So this is my Tmux. So I raised my Tmux in some ways. So I don't have the ugly bar in the bottom. I have it on top here. So you can rise your Tmux. Some questions from Twitch. Lurk, options on X Libre. No. Well, what's the name of the app you're using for notes? It's Obsidian. Obsidian. I use Obsidian and Vim. Opinions on X Libre. I actually don't know about X Libre. What is X Libre about? A fork of the Xorg server with lots of code cleanups. This fork, yeah, first opinion is don't do it. Don't use it. The world has moved on. This is a simple, this is exactly the same as what happened with System D. Like a choice is made, and then you get these fanatical groups who want to keep with the old stuff. I wouldn't recommend this. It's like video games, everything needs a beautiful skin. You don't need all distraction. Yes, exactly. You don't. My opinion is you don't need it, but I've made the mistake here. I am speaking from experience. Like I wasted so much time on it, and this is why I try to save you some time. Have you heard about Archcraft? No, Archcraft. Like my Archcraft, minimal Linux distribution built on Arch Linux. It uses library. Yeah. So again, I don't understand why I would use this. Just install Arch Linux with Sway, and then you know what how everything works, right? I wouldn't do something like this personally. But we get into that the next time. Oh, Marchy, too much bloat. Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah. Yeah. And again, Arch. The reason why I don't use Archcraft is because I am a DevOps engineer, right? So everything I do that because I want to become a better engineer. So that's why the free Linux course. So everyone here, if everyone who wasn't here in the beginning, I will share the free Linux course. This is a free 8-hour course. This is what you can get this completely for free. And in this course, I teach you Linux from the command line, right? It's 8 hours long. It's exactly what I teach to DevOps engineers as well. And we do use the command line because it makes us a better engineer, right? So likewise in CubeCraft, so CubeCraft is the place where I teach people to become six-figure DevOps engineers. This is what I do. I'm a tech career coach, and I help people land DevOps jobs. Here's Pedro. He was a restaurant manager, and he managed to land a DevOps job in the West Coast of America. It's super. Um, but he, but in CubeCraft, I teach Linux the same way. Like we don't. I'm not teaching you how to rise your Linux. I'm teaching you how to build a system from scratch. So using something like Archcraft or Omarchy is going to rob you of so much learning, right? So in here, like this course is like 20 hours long, where I teach you all of the moving parts of Linux. You install it from scratch, and and you'll actually learn how a Linux system works. If you take something like Archcraft or Omarchi, you're not going to learn that. Okay, so this is why I strongly recommend not using something like that. Like you start out with Ubuntu or a simple Linux distribution, and you start with something simple, and then when you get more experience, then you can move on to build something yourself. You can go and use, for example, you could even go Gen 2 if you wanted to. I've not done that, but I think a really good way of learning Linux on a deep level is taking Arch Linux and doing that from scratch, installing your own window manager, installing everything from scratch yourself. Make sure that you encrypt your system. That is how you actually learn Linux. And so avoid these things like Omarchi and Archcraft and all that stuff. Okay. And if you want to learn that from me, if you want to land a six-figure DevOps job, KubeCraft is there for you. Are there labs on it? Yes, it's all very practical, and uh, it's all hands-on based, because you don't land jobs with watching video courses. You land jobs by learning skills, and the only way to learn skills is to do it, to build stuff on the command line yourself, right? So we teach people to build like full end-to-end Kubernetes environments in the cloud with full CI/CD pipelines. Like everything is here. I'm going to teach you Kubernetes, containers. I teach you everything there. So it's about 70 hours of technical training. We build a home lab together. I teach you everything, because that is how you learn, by building things, building projects, right? That is how it works. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for um, CubeCraft is not free. The Linux course is free. So school.com/Linux, that is free. CubeCraft is not free, just so you know. Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining, guys. This is what I have in me for today. I am gonna go home and take a shower and go to bed, because I am sniffing so much. Thanks for joining, and the next time we will continue with Wayland, X11, and dive a little bit deeper into that kind of stuff. Have a good Sunday, guys. Thank you for joining, and see you in the